Live. You're listening to Live with Men, the podcast.
This is Men, the podcast. Mimi naitwa Michael Baruti. Nadia, mambo vipi?
Poa.
Mzima. So because this is the second take, I'm not even going to ask you ile swali nilokuuliza muda uliopita. Yeah. Kabisa. Hii ni kipindi au hiki ni kipindi kinachozungumzia mental health kwa wanaume. Kiswahili kigumu lakini kizuri. Kwa hiyo tunachofanya hapa ni kwamba tunafanya mazungumzo mengi au mambo mengi ambayo yanatakiwa yajadiliwe, lakini focus yetu zaidi kwa wanaume. Na if there's one thing I've learned through discussion nyingi ambazo tumekuwa nazo kwenye podcast ni kwamba kila kitu kina uhusiano na mental health. I've learned that now. It has disadvantages for us. Is ni kwamba imepungua upana wa kuzungumzia topics nyingi zaidi kwa sababu there's always the link na uzuri au I would say a blessing in disguise ni kwamba vitu vingi sana tulikuwa hatujui kama vinahusiana na mambo ya mental health, you know. So luckily for us ambao tumesikiliza podcast zetu na kuna watu they've never skipped an episode. Shout out to each and every one of you. We appreciate you, we love you. Na kuna wengine ambao watasikiliza episode hii tu maybe because tutakuwa na mtu wao ambaye unahisi anawahusu. It's okay, you guys, I hope mkiingia leo mtasikiliza na za nyuma pia, you know, katika essence ya kukua. Lakini the most important thing ni kwamba it is about mental health, it is about growth, it is about self-care, it is about wewe kujitambua, but most importantly we hope at the end of the day itakutrigger, itakuinspire kuweza kufanya the right thing ambayo inaweza kukusaidia kukuza zaidi mental health yako. Mimi naitwa Michael Baruti, the host, and Nadia Ahmed, our resident psychologist. Nadia, tunarecord on a Friday jioni.
Yes.
How do you feel?
Feeling Gucci.
God damn. Just when I thought we were going to be actually an agent.
That's a good comeback.
Yeah, that was a really good comeback, man. Props to you. Nadia is feeling Gucci. I'm too old to be saying that, but hey.
Never too old.
Hey, get with the program, they say. Get with the program. So yeah, na leo bwana kwenye Men the podcast tuko blessed. We are happy kuwa na Phineas Steven. That's the name that you use.
Yeah, Phineas Steven.
Phineas Steven. Now, Phineas bwana, how I first of all, jinsi ambavyo nilikufahamu is through your sister.
Yeah.
She talks, yo.
A lot.
Hey, she talks, yeah. And she was like, you gotta check on my brother. He's doing this amazing thing about basketball. I'm like, yeah? What is it that it does? Umeshawahi kusikia Unmatched Basketball? Of course, siwezi kufanya kwenye tone yake.
Yeah, exactly.
And for those who wako Twitter, wanafuatilia mambo yanaendelea Twitter, then definitely you know Kemi.
Yeah.
Kemi is Phineas, ni dada Phineas. So she's also like, you guys should just link up. So now to make it make sense, my nephew, anaitwa Jason, attended one of your clinics, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, one of your camps.
Exactly.
So sikio nikawa naongea na baba yake, akawa ananiambia kwamba so his son is very laid back kind of guy. Yani sio mwongeaji, sio mtu akusema mbele za watu akaongea na nini na vitu kama hivyo.
Yeah.
Lakini he's a very good ball player. Anacheza basketball na anapenda sana. So he attended one of your camps, I think nadhani ilikuwa inafanyikia town pale,
exactly. Spider, yeah, exactly.
Ilikuwa inafanyikia Spider pale.
Yeah.
So baba yake akaja sikio kumchukua and then akamkuta this guy amesimama. I think they're talking about the learnings ambazo amezipata.
Yeah.
So this guy amesimama mbele za watu anaongea na watu wote wamekaa wanamsikiliza. His father was like, whoa, what is happening to my boy? You know, because he never hakuwahi kumwona mtoto wake akiwa katika hiyo situation na kuweza kusimama na kuongea na confident namna hiyo mbele za watu. Unajua sio kila mtu anaweza hivi vitu. Yeah. Lakini na yeye alikuwa anamfahamu mtoto wake na kumwona amesimama pale mbele za watu anaongea vile. He was really he was surprised, lakini pia for him akaanza kusema okay, kuna kitu ambacho kinaendelea hapa beyond that than just basketball.
Yeah.
You know, and then the second thing we were just talking about before we started recording. Kuna siku Twitter is something ambacho waga namwambia sana Kemi, na because pia my former boss alikuwa ananiambia, which is wherever tulikuwa kwenye meetings and then tulikuwa tunaelekea kuna tense meeting ile kwamba kila mtu anajaribu kupeleka point yake na aeleweke na anachotaka ikifanyike. Alikuwa anarudi, okay guys, like let's take a step back, remember the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing.
Exactly.
And then we ask, so what is the main thing here? So automatically akiuliza hivyo wote tunakuja kwenye same line. Okay, this is the main thing. So argument yako au point yako inaileta wewe ina relate vipi kwenye the main thing that we are supposed to be doing or supposed to be discussing. Na ikawa mara nyingi sana ikana turudisha kwenye line ya kuendelea kufanya kazi. So when you tweeted that, I was like, definitely we need to link up with this guy na tuwe na maongezi. So karibu sana mzee.
Asante sana.
That was a very long introduction.
Yeah,
but I had to bring in the context.
Exactly.
To make sure kwamba kitu kinaeleweka.
Exactly.
So, Phineas, first things first, I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Why Unmatched Basketball?
Why Unmatched Basketball?
And like, what's the story behind
Exactly. I literally grew up playing basketball since I was 4 years old. I remember the first time I did well in my exams. I got a mini basketball hoop because my dad was a sports guy. Alikuwa na all these sports facilities na kila kitu, akaninunulia mini basketball hoop na mpira. So I was so intrigued sababu before then nilikuwa nacheza badminton. And we tulikuwa nakaaga Kigoma. Way back. It's not that back.
Hey, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna judge you. I'm not, because you're like way back. I'm looking at me like.
Yeah, but we used to play badminton and I used to like it, but ever since he bought me that, it kind of intrigued something in me. Like, I kept on just shooting the hoop every single time. Then we went to Arusha, and we were trying to select schools that I can just get into. And I remember I saw this school with a basketball court, and I just told Dad, like, you take me there. I don't want all these other schools that you showed me. Nataka ile pale in the basketball court. And before you know it, all my primary life it was Mimi, kukaa, and spend more time in the basketball court and trying to learn for myself. And it took me like 10 good years to just immerse myself in that environment. Fast forward, it's like I grew up every single time hearing that basketball is not an opportunity for somebody to just embark on in Tanzania. So, and these people who are talking, watu walocheza basketball, ambao nakutana nao kwenye basketball court, au sengine ni makocha, na nyingine ni watu ambao wamesikia basketball, au ni ndugu zako. Kwa sababu mimi I used to like, even nilikuwa naombewa ruhusa shule, ili niende kucheza basketball in a camp, Umeseta, some sort of that. Yeah. And seeing how I spend so much time giving to the sport, and seeing how people talk about it, so there's a need for change on how things have been done. I think that's what intrigues most of people who are trying to start up things. Kwamba, seeing how things are done and people just complain and not do work.
Same story with us in the podcast. It's like something has to be done. Something has to be done.
Exactly. And I came to find that there are people who can see things and let them be the way they are, and some people, they just have to act on it. Neither kwamba nalipwa, walipwi, or whatever, you just gotta act on it. So fast forward in Maliza High School, and I'm nearly getting to my peak of basketball kwa sababu in my high school nikarudi Dar. So I immersed myself so much into basketball, and thankfully to my mentor anaitwa Karabani. Yeah. That guy really took me from like a good 3-year run while I was his player. And all this time, he saw that coach in me. I didn't see nothing, man. I thought I'm just a good player. I can play basketball. I want to go far. And all this time, he was trying to place me to a position whereby he thought I could succeed well. Without further ado, in my Maliza High School, now I'm waiting towards going to uni. A friend of mine just popped out an ad kwamba he needs a coach to train kids. I'm like, man, I'm spending my time at home. I really don't have anything. I don't mind getting any can for doing something that I like. And mind you, by that time, nilifika kipindi kusema kwamba I want to get to know better about kids. And if it's one goal that you go back to my diary, whatever, it's like I want to be a great father, like, period. Yeah, so that made me really, like, when I saw that advert, I was like, I'm going for that, like, mapema kabisa. So ili nijifunze, nijiexpose mwenyewe kwa watoto, in any circumstance, I just read about them, study them, like, be their friends, hear the issues about them, and trying to use basketball as a tool to just trying to help them on things that they go through around. So I enrolled in that program in January 2018. Nikafanya naye kazi jamaa. I worked for him for almost 3-4 months. And I came to find every single day I cannot wait to get back on court. Neither kwamba napata kitu, spati kitu. Mind you, I wasn't getting that much, but I was enjoying every single time kwenda kwenye court kwa sababu the impact that I saw me giving to people in terms of service, it made me like feel accomplished in vitu navyofanya. So fast forward, it came to a point where by now, good things are happening, but also life has to go on. This is something which I always tell my players, kwamba, if I am going to be a coach just on a basketball court, I'm not the right coach for you. But if I'm going to inspire you outside the four corners of the basketball court in terms of my life, how I take care of myself, my discipline, my personality, outside the basketball court, if that's what intrigues you to come to court, then I'm the right guy for you. So this means kwamba my life outside basketball bidi endelee. I had to get some money, you know, I had to take care of myself. Yeah. So what I was getting wasn't as much as what I was putting in. It came to a point where by now we had to part ways with the guy I was working for. And because my mom saw me how much I put in, like, a lot of work into this thing, you know. And
mothers are always like, what
are you getting? Exactly. Exactly. But
the passion is not gonna pay rent.
Exactly. So mind you, I'm still figuring out, am I going for uni or not? Mm-hmm. So I'm so perplexed. I'm like, can I really choose this or can I go for this? So risk taking is very, very high during that time. Yeah. So, and mind you, I was looking up to this guy he's a cousin of mine, and I to Kimambo. I think you might have heard. He's a producer. He's a big producer in Kimambo. Yeah. I saw him grinding since way back in his home studio, and I saw him accomplishing all these things. That kind of intrigued me something like, man, if I can really focus on what I do, I think I can make it. But trust me, nobody who made it that far will tell you to go through the same route. Yeah, you know, like, man, I don't, because people don't trust if you're committed to that process, you know? Like, people don't trust, they'll know you might phase a bit and you might lose too much and you might lose time also, kwa sababu muda haukusubiri. So by that time, I remember my mama kanyambia, why don't you start your own thing? Because I had my own clients by that time. I had people who were calling in every single time want to come train with me. And all this time, when I was working with a guy, I had a bigger vision, but I think my guy didn't have the same vision I had. Because I wanted to go big. And all this time, I imposed ideas. They're being diminished or they're being just let down. And I'm like, man, I think we could do so much, you know, for this thing. I don't think if you see that, though. So fast forward, I remember I was at church, and I went to pray, and I was like, God, I just need to start something of my own. And I don't think many people know about this story, but I sat down thinking about what should I name my program. So I literally went to church and prayed about it. And before you know it, so in my mind, I was like, I want to start something different, you know. I went to my notebook right there, and I wrote, what is different? And I went to synonyms. And all came up, and Unmatched came up too, you know. So I was like, different breeds, Unmatched breeds, whatever. Then before you know it, the pastor gets up in the pulpit, and he says, may you have an unmatched grace. I'm like, I'm spiritual, so I'm like, you. Yeah, so like, this is a story that I tell very, very few people. Because I just like to keep it in that.
I like it. You know I like it. Because on the last episode, we did with Ben, and it's like I said, cover your spiritual. It's a very weird and nice coincidence. So we had on our previous episode, which you really titled Finding Your Purpose, to go na this guy anaitwa Ben Oden. So Ben was alikuwa anaongea story yake, ni anasema kwamba there was a moment a boy he had to make a shift kwenye maisha yake, and he really had to make a change. So akasafiri akaenda mpaka Njombe huko, with the whole concept mwenye anaisa finding myself. So akawa anasema sikiwa amekaa tu on top of the rock, he heard a God voice kabisa anamwambia I love you. Like literally that's what he said. He heard that voice kabisa anamwambia I love you. So after that, for him anasema he got a very, like the inner peace part after that. That was the push. Exactly. So I completely get it.
Exactly. So fast forward, before you know it, so like thinking of how like the word itself, it's like a renewal of your mind. You gotta be different to do something different. You know, you gotta act different. You cannot solve the same problem the same way of thinking that created them.
Yeah.
So I had to be different, and just by you just knowing the word, you knowing kwamba whatever you're gonna get here is not gonna be the same thing that you're used to. And that was my main plan. Kwamba I bring certain type of way of training to basketball ambayo haijazoeleka na Tanzania wengi. And then it's something that they always see some people in the States, wapi, wanafanya. Lakini it's all doable. Sababu, apparently God gave me the talent to just be able to immense all these teachings and knowledge that I can share to people in the same exact way that people other do. You know, and fast forward, that was 2018. 2019, I had to register the name. And before you know it, I was appointed to be one of the 3-on-3 U19 national head coaches. We went to Rwanda. I think by that time I was probably 20 years old. And being given
coaching in
a national team. Yeah. So again, getting that also is like confirmations, you know, like when I think this road is all about faith, like just trying to trust your own conviction of what you're trying to do. And every single time you see a small win, it's like telling you, man, you're on the right track. Like just keep on pushing. Kusabu, apparently everything around you doesn't really look the way you think it is. Kusabu, when you start, nobody's always there.
Yeah, I want to ask you that because I think this is the part where I love the most when in this kind of conversation.
Exactly.
Talk about the number of no's and a lot of people who they didn't believe on the vision of what you want and what yani kitu ambacho ulichokuwa unakiona wenyewe walikuwa hawakioni.
Exactly.
What did you do to convince them? Did you try kwa shirikisha or for you it was like you guys, if you don't see what I'm nachokiona mimi, leave me alone. But then when it comes from the people that you love, it hurts.
Exactly.
Like when the people that you love that don't believe in your vision and your dream, that hurts.
Exactly.
So how did you go about that?
First of all, on 2018, I had to take a time whereby I had to go away from home. Because this noise is too
What
much.
is it with people going away from home, man?
Man,
They did the same thing.
You get clarity.
Yeah. Because like,
that's keeping you.
all you want to hear is, what can take you the next day. You know, and I had a plan with me. I remember I was talking to a friend of mine called Prince. We went to the same high school. I told you, man, I mean, right now it might not look the way it is. Give me 5 years. So my plan was long term. So whatever you're gonna see right now, this is not even a minute of it. Whatever I see and envision every single day, and that gave me hope because it's not microwave success, you know. So now I'm like next few months you're gonna see me somewhere, you know. So I really had to immerse myself in the process, and I think by that time, being able to be in a surrounding whereby it's just you and your mind trying to focus into trying to establish that foundation, it's very important. My dad passed away like 2 years ago. This time we're trying to have conversation. It's easy to pluck out mbuyu ukiwa kama mchicha. So that time when you're growing, it's so easy to be demotivated, kukata tamaa na kila kitu with others people's words kwa sababu you're not that strong enough. So once you throw yourself in a surrounding na watu ambao wanakushusha chini kila saa, you might find 2-3 times kwamba, oh shit, they're right, and you deviate from the road. And I had to just let myself kwamba grow as much in a way kwamba it's gonna be so hard to pluck me out from the road. And once I thought that time was enough, I was like, okay, let's get back home. Let's see how we can do this, you know. I remember some of my family members never believing in that because coming from a position whereby I was good at school and stuff, so everybody saw this road for me being I wanted to be a doctor.
Like go to college.
Yeah, go to college.
Get a good
Exactly.
No more road.
And one of my family members told me like, yo, basketball not here, maybe in the States and stuff. She wrote me a long test. I was like, man, damn. And I remember one of my family members told me, you're never gonna succeed in life.
Wow.
Just right after telling, like that. I remember to this moment. I remember telling my mom, and it kind of hurt me.
It hurts.
It kind of hurt me, but I was like, okay, that's good motivation too, you know?
Kama unaweza
Yeah.
But then it takes, and then Nadia can speak on it. How much strength did it take when you kuweza kugeuza that kind of thing into a motivation?
Yeah.
It speaks to the passion. Because
Yeah.
if the passion is there, then it's easier to kind of take criticism and say, okay, I'm going to prove you wrong. You know, like if the passion isn't, it's not as strong. Yeah, because muda mwingine we have so many things that we want to be doing, and life is a journey. We're constantly exploring. Today, like as you're growing up, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a dentist, I want to be a scientist, and then I want to be a psychologist.
Yeah.
So some people are not yet have not yet discovered that one passion that they can fight for.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think muda mwingi ukiwa this is something you know I want to live, breathe, and share. Yeah. Then it's easier to convert criticism, negative criticism, into something that will motivate you.
Exactly.
You know, because hapo unachukua mtu anakuambia hauto succeed kwenye maisha yako into okay, I'll prove you wrong. I'll show you.
Yeah.
You know, or I take the challenge.
Exactly. I think that comes with basketball too. Sababu, in basketball, when somebody doubts you, you get a chip on your shoulder. Like you gotta prove him wrong. Sababu, like, yo, you're not gonna just talk to me like that. So basketball, mindset-wise, it really like builds your mental toughness, something which many players lack, and due to that, it affects their gameplay.
The performance.
You know, even if you go to, I even tell my kids, so that's why even if you see my logo, it's half brain, it's half basketball, and most of the basketball thing is all mental. If your mental toughness is good, you can play basketball, man. I don't care who you are. But if you're mentally tough, you can play basketball. And I tell my kids, man, as long as you're good here, everything else will flow well in your life, you know?
Yeah. And I want to ask this. This goes for any of you, between and Nadia ambaye anaweza akajibu. Talk about why the people wanaokuzunguka usually are the ones ambao wanajaribu kutu pull down. And I would like to think that usually it comes from the place of love. Because these are the people that ni watu ambao wanakupenda. So they definitely want you to do well.
Yeah.
But then,
exactly.
How come inakuwa ngumu wao kushare the same vision that ulionayo wewe na wenyewe kuweza kukusupport? Like, what's the math behind it, Nadia?
I don't think there's math. Humans are strange. Lakini muda mwingi, sometimes it's coming from a good place. Lakini let's not forget, some people just don't want to see you doing, because muda mwingi mtu anaweza labda experience zake kapitia yeye ndoto zake zimebomolewa sana. And Tanzania tuna culture hiyo sana. Watanzania tubadilike. Watanzania tuna tabia hii sana. Cause mimi nimepitia changamoto hii, lazima na wewe upitie hiyo changamoto.
Exactly.
So it's not coming from okay, I went through all these struggles. You can have a better outcome. Or mimi nimepitia watu wengi wamenisema, wamenideviate paka nikaacha ndoto zangu nikafanya mambo mengine ambayo maisha yangu sasa hivi siyapendi hata yalivyokuwa. Lakini walinivunja tamaa na wewe ndoto zako so muhimu kwa sababu za kwangu zilikuwa sio muhimu, walinivunja.
So I'm like projecting my fear.
Exactly. We project. Wengine it's coming from a good space kwamba nimepitia this experience, nimeona kwamba kila kitu nilichokijaribu because ni tofauti, jamii hawajui au watu hawatoelewa au sio kitu ambacho tumekizoea ambacho kinakuletea labda kipato cha aina fulani, then they feel like they're doing you a favor by telling you usiende huko. Rather than having an open mind kuona kwamba dunia inabadilika, mambo yanabadilika, na pia watu labda hawako exposed kwa sababu hamna mtu aliyowa expose.
Exactly. I think like coming from my point, I think this is one of the things ambayo ilikuwa motivate sana. I look back to my family and I reason why are they talking this much is because nobody used my route ever.
So you're
exactly.
Yeah.
So they're in shock, but how do they express their shock is through fear. And that fear now once you don't know what you want to do, they can put constraints ambazo zinakufanya wewe rudi back to what they want. So to me it look kwamba I have to make it ili ule anayekuja kwenye familia yangu, beat I don't know who it is, anyangalia mimi like Phineas made it though. Like he has an excuse onto why he wants to follow the same route he wants to. And if I'm not gonna make it, he's not gonna have that. He's not gonna have me as an example to make it. Actually, I'm by na generation of basketball, just in my family, and I thought about that. I was like, man, I gotta make it ili wao wanakuja akiwa anajisikia kwamba my purpose inaniongoza kwenda huku ni nje na matamanio ya mzazi, which is not disrespecting something. I can follow through sababu Phineas made it.
Yeah.
And it's a guy who I can relate just with proximity all the way through. So
and that's a good point. The fear, kwa sababu again that's coming from that place of love, kwamba hatujui kwa sababu none of us have gone through this route. True. So unaweza stumble, ukaanguka, hatutojua jinsi ya kukusaidia kwa sababu hatujapita hiyo njia.
Exactly.
So that fear, the way it comes out, it feels like discouraging.
I think
it feels like they're discouraging.
Yeah, I think now that I think I've been a little bit of, and I wouldn't say a victim, but I've been in that situation a little bit because, so ukija home kwangu mimi, mzee wangu went to school, alisoma mambo ya town planning and city planning and what huko, and then sister yangu wakati anaenda university akaenda kusoma IT. My brother ameenda kusoma BA statistics. You get it? And then here comes Michael and journalism. So at first, now the good thing is they were supportive. Like, okay, all right, cool. If that's what you want, so like I could see the worry on my dad. Like he was always worried, and for him was like, man, journalism, Tanzania. What's gonna happen to this guy? So idea yake ya kwamba wakanienda. So when I went to the university, nimeenda kusoma mass communication. My dad was more and hata mimi nilikuwa na think kwamba go to niende university and then ni opt kwenye public relations, yeah, because then nikitoka paenda kwa PRO company moja mining kubwa sana, and then I get ridiculous amount of money, I'm good, right? Yeah. But then nakumbuka nimeingia chuo first year, nikapelekwa kwenye radio pale chuo, like, and literally just things flipped, like kabisa. Yani I remember mpaka nakumbuka the first time nimeingia studio, this guy anaitwa Selemani Msumi, shout out to him. Nimeingia studio and then napandisha feda kwa mara ya kwanza, naanza kuongea in front of a microphone. I was like, this is where I belong. So tumefika second year ambapo now people wanachagua wanataka kwenda wapi. I didn't go kwenye public relations, I didn't go kwenye optional print media, I just went straight kwenye TV and radio production. So my dad was like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Exactly. So my dad was not the kind of person to tell you, don't do it. Yeah. But for him, it was more, are you sure? Do you have a plan? Like, do you have this thing figured out? Yeah. Now, the funny part is, my sister, everybody's at school, stayed at home for more than a year before she got a job. Okay. My brother stayed at home for more than a year before I got a job. I had 3 job offers by the time I took a show. Like, kabisa. And for him, it was like, how? You of 4 people? How? I'm like, I don't know. Things are just happening. Exactly. So I think now, as a father, for me, I always tell, and my 5-year-old and my 2-year-old, especially my 5-year-old, we're gonna be, what do you want to do? Just do it. Yeah. You know, I think that's super, super, super important kwa sababu moja, hamna kitu kizuri kama you know, kama you have the support of the people around you. It fuels you. Even you're not worried even if you don't succeed. You're like, it's cool.
Exactly. You know you have a cushion.
Yeah, you know it's a cushion. Exactly. But it's extra pressure when people are telling you don't do it, and then you end up doing it because now you're like, God damn it if I don't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Exactly.
So tell me, how was that for you?
Man, it was like every single time I used to just wake up sometimes, you know, like, yo, you gotta, because mind you, by that time, it's like I was just in my zone, man. You wouldn't know what I'm doing sometimes, you wouldn't know what I'm eating, and my mom used to just call me and stuff.
Exactly.
Man, I mean, like, it came from that, and plus, I just had a way to just find motivation out of the most simple stuff ever. I'll just go in a dollar example, right? Yeah. I'll go in a dollar and just see how people just react. My mind clicks and just trying to find motivation. I have a good day just like that, you know? And just knowing that, because by that time, my dad was in Kigoma when I was the first year that I was trying to hustle out my way out. And it was good to see him trying to, like, know what I'm doing, but also trying to help me out a little bit in terms. He wrote my first business profile, my dad, And knowing that and just seeing how we escalated to just being able to just ask him about, oh, yo, how do I go about this and stuff. My mom was so good. My mom was so worried on what other people will say.
Yeah.
Not her. She was good.
My guy, that is always the case with mothers, I think.
Yeah.
I understand you.
Yeah. What about your uncle will? You know you have been. So what will they talk to me about? You know, I don't want to go through that pressure. And man, every single day I remember telling my mom one word. Mama Ntatoboa. Like, I remember exactly the 2018, all that year, I was like, Mama Ntatoboa. And before you know it, February next year, 2019, I'm going to Rwanda. All these nugus are coming out here. Yo, where you go? I mean, yeah. And that first win, it kind of felt like, yeah, man, like, damn, if you can just stick to it, no matter what you do every single day, like just try to stick to it every single day, I think there's a possibility for you to just achieve what you want, you know? And I narrowed down consistency into like a very simple thing. Like, I was like, if I can just show up to a basketball court every single day, no matter, like I have something to do or don't, I believe I'll find something because my passion is within that area, you know. And before you know it, it might be a client passing through. Because I remember this day, I had nothing to do, and I was like, man, you just gotta go to court. Before you know it, somebody's coming there and asking, oh, who trains basketball? And I'm right here. like, but if I wasn't in my area and doing something else, man, I don't know how will my next day be.
Then I want to speak about the importance of consistency.
Yeah. Man, it's one thing that, again, I would like to really shout out to my mentor, Karabani, really infused onto me. He was just like, man, whatever you're doing, just keep on doing, you know? And even though God blessed me to just be able to stay close to the court where I do my work every single day, it's not that easy to just keep on waking up in the morning every single day and just going to the court. So I had to switch up my mindset in a sense whereby every single day I'm at the court, I'm in service of one soul every single day. Wow. If I don't show up, that one soul will not get my service, and probably his life in the next 10 years won't be the same just because I couldn't show up. Wow. So I had to tie myself into that thinking for me to be able to find purpose every single day to show up the court. If I don't go to see the kids, these kids won't have that guy to talk to them. Like, yo, I'm here for you outside basketball. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you're thinking right now. You know, if these kids don't show, if I don't show up for them, I am losing them slowly without me knowing. Because kids are smart. And kids nowadays, if you're a mediocre person, they just know about it.
They know, they know.
You know?
I don't know, man.
They know about it. They know about it. And that, because now, mind you, by that time, the only friends I have is kids. The only friends I have is basketball and people around there. Outside there, it's just me and my whole life. So people who I'm always thinking about is those kids. And where are they at the court? So I always had to tie myself into thinking of me being of service to some soul for me to be able to just keep on going every single day there. And as I told you, it's not even about doing the same thing every day. It's about showing up.
Yeah.
You know, it's as long as you show up to the studio, you know you're gonna do something. You know, because if you're passionate about it, there's something that's gonna intrigue you, right? And you'll be like, oh, I think if we do 1, 2, 3, we can work it out. And before you know, you're back to work. So I think it's a change of mindset. Again, you gotta be with an unmatched basketball way of thinking, unmatched thinking, to be able to think it that way and not think it as work every single day. Yeah.
Preach, my brother. No, I'm loving this conversation. So I have this very I have my favorite quote from Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
I don't know Pokea or Gani. So and he said something about is being a bigger threat to failure
To
than
progress.
To progress, yeah,
Yeah.
easier. I mean, ease is a bigger threat to progress than hardship.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said.
Kumani, people like things ambavyo ni rahisi. So whenever they feel like this is not easy, they opt not to do it. You know, so and then he also talked about consistency.
Yeah.
Around the same talk.
Yeah.
It's so important. Kwamba it's easier to start,
Yeah.
but consistency is what will get you somewhere.
Exactly.
And then I like what you said earlier about one soul. Because me and Nigel have always had a saying, Kwamba, as long as one person listens to the podcast,
Yeah.
and they actually send a message like, yo, I listened to this episode and it did 1, 2, 3 for me.
Exactly.
That's good enough reason for us to actually meet on the other day and do another recording.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if we get 2 listeners
Yeah.
or 1,000 of them,
Exactly.
but if one person actually listens to the podcast and goes like, you know what, guys, imeongea hiki na hiki, I was going through it, and you guys menisaidia. That's all that you need.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
that is all that you need, and that's what you guys call the Mamba mentality.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. In a sense whereby it gotta be. There's a point whereby it just gotta be more than basketball. You know, and I think this is where I don't like pointing people, but most of us coaches we lose players because when it's all about basketball. Once this player is down with playing that ball, you're down with him. And that's not a good mindset. That's why you're going to have players who are so talented in our country, but if you look at the lifestyle, it doesn't motivate you at all, you know? And to me, that's why in my camps now, we're trying to even teach about financial literacy,
That's
you know,
good.
leadership skills. We're going all around, because I'm not going to promise you to take it to the NBA, nah. That's not my promise, but my promise is like, I'm going to give you tools they're gonna like will you up to become a successful individual in the society.
That's pretty much the same way therapy works, man. No?
Yeah. So like through socialization, like you knowing one another and just being able to come up front. Somebody like Jason, there's another girl, her name was Najma. She couldn't talk in front of girls, you know, in front of people. That's not girls, it's in front of people. And the first time we just gave an opportunity, she cried. Before you know it, during the end of the camp, she could talk confidently. And you don't know what will that take her, how far will that take her. Yeah, so like, I think, coming back to Mamba mentality, like, Kobe got to a point whereby he's like, if what I can do can help multiple souls together through what I do, that's true success. Yeah, yes, I think.
Wow, I think that's huge. Tell me about, talk to me about where you are right now with Unmatched Basketball.
Yeah.
Where are you right now?
Exactly.
Compare ulipotoka na ulipofika sasa hivi. Somebody asked you.
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to shout out to my sister. Man, she has been knocking a lot of doors. I call her my network manager because she's for sure, like, we could just go to...
She's seeing mine in the future, so she wants the pie. She wants the cut of the pie.
I would really like to appreciate her for, like, to just be she's like that one person that I knew she had my back every single time, you know? She made a lot of noise. I'm like, man, thank you so much. So where I am right now, it feels like I took on the market, like in terms of basketball market. And now if you talk about a basketball program in Tanzania, training basketball program, you wouldn't leave Unmatched Basketball aside. And just being able to affect now, have a group of players that I've grown with, you know, and see them achieve their own success through what we are able to mentor them through. To me, I think that's where, like, right now I'm seeing much more of it. And just being able to grow myself into all this thing, because, man, not only basketball, I was so focused also on the business side of basketball. How am I going to grow my social media platform? How am I going to grow my business? You know, I lost a lot of money in trying to just get a good logo for myself. How is it going to speak to the people? I appreciate so much Mega the Fixer. He's my designer. He's a guy who teaches me a lot of stuff outside in terms of branding my business. All that knowledge wouldn't come if I didn't, like, go through these all years of hard work. And just now, it's like how I envision things now. Like the things that I do for basketball, it's like legacy, like generated. Like I think much more of 10 to 20 years after I'm gone. What is it gonna be left here?
Yeah.
You know, the court that grew me up, I was able to renovate it, paint it, get some new boards and stuff. To me, that's
It's huge.
it's huge, you know? Like growing onto that court and seeing people who were able to make change, but they didn't make change. But I'm here now, I can make that change, and nobody pays me nothing.
Yeah.
It's out of goodwill. And I'm not saying this because I would,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
to me, it's like, man, now I can just give back to the community and I can be of service without any demand of anything.
And I'll tell you what, between me and you, that's how I measure success for me.
Yeah.
Usually, and I know it's a line from Rick Ross, but it spoke to me so well. And I usually say that how many people you bless is how you measure success.
Exactly.
You know, I cannot believe how Rick Ross saying that, but he's a good point. So definitely, he could. And whenever I tell people comments, and I pick this line from Rick Ross, the biggest boss, they're like, you say that? So yeah, like how many people you bless is how you measure success. Kwamba, I think the moment we a conversation, we were like, it goes beyond the basketball.
Exactly.
The basketball court.
Yeah.
It goes beyond just dribbling the ball na
Yeah.
vitu kama hivyo. We look more into how namna gani unaweza kuimpact watu wengine na vitu kama, and I think you've done some I think you've done amazing. Yes, I think you've done amazing. But Nadia, I want to bring you in the sense of let's talk about I really want us to speak about the process. Again, I know we speak about it a lot, but then there's always a chance that a person ambaye anasikiza sasa hivi hakusikiza, because you listen to what Phineas say, he had to go through the process, and it wasn't an easy process. You look at the kwanza support, probably huna. You look at the finances ambazo unahitaji kufanya hicho kitu, huna. You look at waliokutangulia kama umewahi kufanya hicho kitu akafanikiwa, hakuna. It's a tough process. Now, as it is as humans, hata zile process ambazo tunazijua na tunajua zitatupeleka wapi, kuzifuata tu waga ni kazi. Can you imagine following your process ambayo hujui?
Well, cha kwanza ni muhimu kuji-evaluate. So unapiga audit in a way. Have an audit of yourself, your skill, audit of your support that's around you, audit of your finances. Basically just a nice all-rounded audit. Yeah, kwa sababu ni vigumu to pursue your dream if there is no fuel in your vessel, the vessel that you're moving into your body. So, where do we get the fuel? What we eat, where we live, our basic needs. Ukifikiria ile pyramid, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Our passion is at the very top there. Yeah, but it's usually that beacon that's like driving us towards it. That's what kind of helps us to move from the bottom level and go upwards. Lakini ni vigumu kupanda kule juu if huku chini hauna foundation. And the foundation are our basic needs: food, shelter, health, etc. So kama unajikuta huko kwenye position una ndoto lakini unajiona umeshajitathmini ukaona Mungu wangu sina uwezo, sina support, yani hapa sioni njia yoyote ambayo ninaweza nikatoboa, kwa sababu ndio muda mwingine una ndoto lakini hauna ule labda mtaji au hauna support, hauna mtu yote hata kukupa mawazo ukaangalia labda jaribu hivi au jaribu vile, au mtu anakupoint out towards opportunities. Then angalia what can you do now to create an environment ambayo unao uwezo hata kidogo, hata wa exposure. So I usually tell a lot of people, kama unaona kuna opportunities zozote, if it's volunteering au unaona kwamba okay nikifanya labda hichi family watu watanitenga, sitopata support, basi angalia jinsi gani naweza nikasatisfy huku ili ile support kidogo iwepo, so that some of my needs are met. And in that process unafikiria nafikiaje malengo yangu. So wengi wetu tunakuwa tunakata tamaa, lakini use that as a healthy challenge, kwamba okay sasa hivi nimejitathmini, sina uwezo wa wa kupambania ndoto zangu, lakini kuna vitu naweza nikafanya kujenga yale mazingira. You know, and then eventually you have the resources, you have either the tools, you have the information, the network ambayo itakusaidia kuenda huko. Nasema always, binadamu sisi ni wavivu, we like easy things, we like automation, and that's why wengi wetu ni maloya, madaktari huku Tanzania, wa nini. Templates ziko.
Lawyers wamefanikiwa vipi, doctors wamefanikiwa vipi.
Exactly. Yeah. It's an easy, ndio maana hata wazazi ukisema mimi nataka kuwa daktari, unapata support zote. Nataka kuwa sijui lawyer, unapata support. Lakini njoo hapa useme unataka sijui kuwa an astronaut, for example.
A basketball coach.
Or a basketball coach. Na at least hata sasa hivi tuna templates for kids today. At least wana watu ambao wamepitia hizo steps, wame create the way, the pathways. You know, so a lot of us like to travel the road that is well paved, there's lights, there's tarmac, kwa sababu it's easier. Lakini umwambia nipita kwenye hicho kichaka, sijui kinaelekea wapi, nitakutana na nini huko sijui. Giza, it's not comfortable, kuna vumbi, so wengi wetu tunakuwa tunaiavoid. We just take the easy route even though we're not happy on it na hatupendi tunapoenda. Lakini kwa sababu the fear of the unknown, I don't know nitafikaje, I don't know nitakuwaje along this way, tunakuwa we give up on that route. Lakini we must always tujikumbushe kwamba kitu chochote kinachoonekana leo ni rahisi ni kwa sababu kuna watu walipita hiyo njia. Wakapita paka ikawa barabara kubwa, paka ikajulikana, wakaitengeneza, wakapanda na maua, so now it's a scenic route. So someone needs to start.
Usingekuwa coach wa basketball ungekuwa nani, you think?
Daktari.
That's what you wanted to be, sindio?
Yeah, like, cause like that was my option. Cause I was growing up, like, I think we just kind of just, hey, we just, as you say, kuna templates nyingi unaziona, like they're just vivid, like right there. And growing up, you see some of your relatives in daktari ni kila kitu. Maybe you performed well in your science subjects, and then like
it makes sense.
Makes sense, like right, but I think there's a lot more to that you don't know by that time, and before you know it, you're like, oh, I don't think that was a good route for me.
Did you end up going to college?
So I haven't yet. I am just immersing myself with different knowledges about business on my own. But yes, I would really like get to a point where I go back. I believe that is an essential part of me to grow even exponentially higher. So please, if you want to go to school, please go to school. You gotta go to school, please.
And no, but then the beauty of it now with you, now you exactly know what you want to do.
Yes.
So even going to college, you know exactly what
you know what you want to do. Yeah.
Plus, I don't have the pressure. Exactly. Because sababu now, if I have my thing that's operating by itself without my presence, and I can just coordinate it in another way, I can just keep on doing study whatever I want to do. And by the end of the time, because I have no pressure, I don't have to do things that I don't have to do for me to succeed. Because people be doing things that they don't really have to do for them to succeed into what they don't want to be. So I think that's to me, like, it's a very good position that I am to right now. Going back to college, that, man, I know A, B, C, and I can get that without pressure and be happy at the same time.
There's a saying on somehow, there's a beauty in struggle.
Yeah.
Tell me, in your context now, how would you expand on that?
It's just, first of all, you come out different. Like, through struggle, you go through a metamorphosis that completely changes who you are, how you think, grows you up, and to me, that's the beauty within whatever I had to go through to get where I want right now. Now I know exactly how to, the things that I struggled for, now I have the answers to it. And now I'm of great demand just because of how I had to go through the struggle, you know? And also being able to just know things makes you not go wrong in the same things, or makes you help somebody else. Like, yo, the route is 1, 2, 3. Now now I have the map because I went through the struggle.
Yeah.
So to me, those are the things that like, yo, man, I think the struggle, the things that I went through, the hardships that I went through, the things that I know now, to me, that's something I cannot.
But you wouldn't have struggled this much coming ungeamua doctor though.
I mean, like
It would have been a different struggle.
different struggle, different.
Yeah.
But again, like with passion, it's like you get tired when you just stop doing the work.
Yeah.
Like when you, okay, I'm tired. But when I'm training, like I could go over. Like example, like a player of mine and him, we can go like 3-4 hours. Then I'm like, man, I'm tired. like after that, when I sit down, like, yo, I'm tired. Or I might have a long schedule, like wake up maybe at 4, whatever. And in the middle of the day, I'm like, do you know that you woke up at 4? Like that hits you when you just relax. But on the process of doing it, because it's passion, it's not. It's really not. As
You don't
much
see it as a struggle.
As a struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, it's the process that matters in between. Na pia sidhani kama ni struggle, especially kama ni kitu ambacho unapenda kufanya. Kwa sababu unaona this is getting me one step closer to what I want. Ukijiona kwamba kitu unachokifanya wewe kila saa unaona this is just a struggle, nifanye hivi, ujue maybe this is not something deep down. Exactly. This is not your passion. That should tell you something.
Exactly.
As Phineas is saying, unajikuta kabisa umeamka alfajiri, yani Monday to Friday you're waking up at 4.
Exactly.
Lakini bado unajikuta unayo ile energy you have, unayo ile nguvu ya kuendelea. What do you think? It's the internal motivation that's driving you, that's helping you wake up. Lakini kama ingekuwa unafanya kitu ambacho hukipendi, I promise to God, ile kuamka saa 10 ungeifeel. Tena you feel it from the minute you wake up.
Yeah.
Because there isn't that internal motivation pushing you. And muda mwingine, if it's the drive is not inside, it's external. Hata kama mtu atupia pesa za aina gani, you will still feel that this is a struggle for me to do, lakini you will just do it because the reward is big.
Exactly.
But if there is internal motivation, the reward is appreciated, but there's also internal drive that is pushing you, that's helping you to feel like it's not hard work. This is, I just need to do what I need to do to get where I want to go.
Definitely.
So hapo ndo tofauti unaikuta muda mwingi. And this is how we can tell. Kitu ambacho nakifanya ni kweli kitu ambacho mimi ninakifurahia na nakipenda. It's an internal motivation. Au kama kitu nachokifanya ni externally motivated. Labda kwa sababu jamii watasema ndio, ni daktari. Unajua? Au mtoto wangu ni lawyer, lakini sema wewe labda I'm a dancer, for example. Mzazi wako nadhani atakuintroduce vipi? Probably will not introduce you that mtoto wangu kasomea fine arts or whatever. Kwa sababu in our culture wanaona hii sio kazi. Lakini daktari wewe.
Where I work, there's this guy by profession he's a doctor. Now, and I think we'll have him on the podcast one day. He has a very interesting story, but for him, his dad wanted him to be a doctor. So akasema, you know what, he said akaenda amesomea Russia kabisa. Amerudi daktari mzuri kabisa. Baada ya kurudi na vyeti akamwambia mzee, you want a son and then a doctor? Cheti hiki hapa, let me go do what I want to do. Right now anashika kamera na kufilm vitu na kupiga picha.
That's his passion.
Kabisa. Now, it is, and he's good at his job.
Yeah.
Na mpaka leo babake waga akikutana na watu anawaambia jamani msaidieni mwanangu kutafuta kazi huko. Because haelewi mwanangu anafanya nini.
Yeah, but inabidi
you cannot be a doctor hapo unahangaika kwenda kurekodi watoto wanacheza na hivyo. Why?
Inabidi tuanze kubadilika as a generation. I think sisi hapa kwa sababu ndio wazazi wetu generation iliyopita ni vigumu wao kuelewa. I mean hata being a psychologist
generation hii Nadia.
Ndio inabidi tuanze kwa sababu kwa sababu sasa hivi wengi wetu tunaanza kuongelea mambo haya. Tunaona mambo tofauti. Wazazi wetu walikuwa hawaoni. You know, personally in my family there's never been a psychologist. Na niliambiwa utafanya kazi gani hapa Tanzania? You know? And so if we continue to say leo mimi generation ndaambia watoto wangu mimi nime struggle sana, yani hapa kazi kuwa psychologist wala sio usiendelee, lakini mimi nafanya hivi, like this is the work that I do, then we're not doing a service to the generation that's coming. So we today need to start change that. Kwamba kuwa daktari, yes it's great, lakini kuwa a videographer or a basketball coach or a psychologist or a dance instructor pia ni muhimu kwa sababu we all fit in this ecosystem. We cannot all be doctors. alafu doctor ataenda accountant wake ni nani? Pesa zake nani atazimanage finances? You know, who will train his kids? You know, who will keep their health in check? Let's say not just ill health, kwa sababu madaktari wanatibu magonjwa, si ndio? Lakini who maintain their well-being? They need to be able to, let's say, go to a gym, have an instructor.
Exactly.
You know, learn how to swim, because one day uko kwenye boti hapo, afu boti kuna changamoto, linazama, hujui kuogelea, inakuaje? So we all fit into an ecosystem. Ni muhimu tuanze kurecognize kwamba kila mtu ni muhimu na kila kazi ni muhimu, kwa sababu wote we fit into each other. Kama hamna cashier, daktari hawezi kwenda kulipia groceries zake. Kama hamna businessman, they will not be that supermarket. You know? So ndio najua kuna kazi kadhaa ambazo tunazipraise and they're highly rewarded payment yao wanayopata, lakini there is no reason that other professions pia haziwezi kuwa hivyo pia. Ni sisi tu kuamua kwamba tunaanza kuappreciate kila mtu.
Phineas, at what point have you ever felt like your mental health was really, really challenged throughout this process?
The fact that I remember I told you guys about I was being perplexed on whether I should continue my studies in terms of going to college, or I should take a risk into what I want to do. I was also in fear, because man, you want me to talk this in front of my parents, everybody who knows that this kid was going to be a doctor or is somebody like with a good profession, kwamba you're gonna opt for basketball course, even though they seen me grow in a basketball environment all this time. But still, I had that fear in terms of expressing myself. That's why I had to go away from home. Because it felt kwamba, how are they going to understand me? And the time had to come whereby I had to make a decision. That time now was a big struggle, because now I was maybe not in a good talks with my mom sometimes, but maybe don't talk enough to your dad or something, or some sort of that, or relatives. And then you gotta make a decision onto something which is very risk-taking, but also it's mental rewarding in terms of kwamba my serenity. Like
That's important.
I'm whole, you know. So that was really pressure mentally for me to be able to like embark on that. Good thing is my dad was with me, and in a sense whereby now, when we were trying to talk to all the relatives and stuff, like it made it easier for it didn't make it easier, but those who were with me, they had to just be with me. Those who were not with me had to just roll on. And I think to me that was pressure. There was a time I was sleeping in a studio because my cousin is a producer, as I told you, right? So like I had to go through all that. Not because I couldn't afford a good life. It's just because now, man, I just want to do this, but it's not what everybody else who supports me, who's my family wants me to do. So I mean that, and to be able now to overcome that and just see the results, it kind of strengthened me up. Even though I was kind of tough a little bit during basketball, the wins and losses, whatever you go through. But that was really, really tough for me. Like, really, really tough for me.
Yeah, that cannot be easy for anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, that's why they call this whole thing the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes you gotta go through that. You gotta go through that. Ili you appreciate chochote utakachopata when you ukifanikiwa kufika upande wa pili. So shout out to you, man, for actually doing that, sticking up, because it's not easy. Exactly. Watu wengi sana ndoto zao zimevunjwa because of that. Watu wengi sana wame they've never recovered. Kutokana na hicho. But I want to ask you this as we are winding up is did you have to lose some relationships along the way?
Yeah.
Have you ever recovered some, or some zimepotea for good?
apparently I got taught a good lesson about association. Who you associate with really matters. It doesn't mean kwamba I am with my friends because I now 7 years since primary or whatever that I'm supposed to go along with them. If they're not with my purpose, man, I mean, excuse me. It was so easy for me to distance myself with that because for you to be with me, you wouldn't like the lifestyle I was living through by that time because it was all work. So I had to distance myself, yes, with a lot of friends, cut down relationships that I had because I couldn't be with their own schedule. If you're not with my schedule, I'm sorry. I'm fine with who I'm with right now. It'd be one kid, or it'd be like me, or it'd be one friend. I remember that time, 2018, that time I was building myself, I only had one friend, or two. That was max for me. And most of my friends used to be these kids I used to go train every single time. And I didn't mind having that lifestyle. Because with me, my purpose was, I want to learn more about this kid. So like, whoever that doesn't support me in that, or in terms of doesn't want to associate with me because of me following my passion, because I understood how bad I wanted to accomplish my goal, it was so easy for me to just detach just like that. But in a long sense, yes, I really had to cut down relationships. Recovered from them, it's like just getting to know about them. Yo, how you doing? Is everything okay? That's it.
But it can never be the same.
It cannot be the same because right now, I'm still not gonna like set aside my schedule unless there is something important that's happening. But if it's within whatever I'm gonna do and you wanna support in the course, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Wow. It's the resilience, the mental toughness, I would say, and I guess this is why it was so important for you to come here na sisi kuwa na conversation, because I believe that what we've just talked about here, kama kuna mtu ambaye they were doubting themselves about kitu anataka kukifanya na ndoto zao, and you know na kuna challenges ambazo wanakutana nazo, it's good for them to know it's just part of the process.
Exactly.
You know, it is just part of the process, and process sio rahisi.
Kabisa.
Sio rahisi kabisa. And I guess that is why you have very few successful people, and a lot of ordinary people.
Exactly.
You know, like there's a very few cream you want to talk about, because even in the basketball, like watu wengi wanacheza.
Exactly.
Like, you find out there are very few players that are quite exceptional, and they make it mpaka kwenye level ya juu kabisa. And then what ukisikiliza stories zao is like the mental strength ambayo inahitaji kuweza kufanikiwa.
Exactly.
And other factors.
Yes, I know.
A lot of factors.
But there's a lot of factors, but you cannot shy away
That's
from.
That's a big factor.
It plays a very it's in a play particular.
Even like successful, like if you go successful NBA players, basketball players who have been paid a lot. There's a lot of pressure going through them. You know, like they even establish a mental health program that is gonna deal with players who are in the league, trying to help them like adjust well to all that pressure, because it's a totally different environment. It's money that you never thought of. It's the friends that come in. It's the deals that you want to sign. The fame and everything. Yeah. If you're not well positioned in terms of mentally tough, but also just being able to have somebody who guides you through it, it can really take you over.
What do you tell to your kids who don't make it, or about maybe they don't become as good kwenye basketball? What do you do? What do you tell them ili kutokuwakatisha tamaa kwenye mambo mengine kwenye maisha?
I'm saying, kwamba, for you to be able to come to the court, your life outside it has to be good. Because kumbuka, mind you, I'm not paying you to come to court. You know, you are coming every single day to the court, and sometimes I might be expecting some type of work ethic, but I don't know if you ate. I don't know if kama umelipa deni ulikuwa unadaiwa. I don't know kama nyumba unapanga umeshalipa rent. I don't know kama shule umesoma kama umeenda leo au vipi. So focus so much on things that are gonna make you come back to basketball, lakini sio related to basketball, which is like, okay, if you run a business, that's what the definition of financial literacy. You get some money, can you save up to start something? You know, sababu most of these kids now, many of them wanaenda chuo. Now you get into a life whereby you're independence. You know, mamako babako is far, like wengine wanaenda nje kusoma and stuff like that. Are you ready to have the discipline to still maintain your level of sanity, but also build up something from what you get? I mean, if the path is clear, right? Good things will come along, but also don't forget about your life outside basketball. To me, that's my greatest point that I always want them to understand. That's why we try to incorporate easy program comes leadership skills, financial literacy. Kwa sababu specifically is that we're not selling a dream ya kwenda into a basketball career. We're giving you tools to succeed as a human being, just in a normal society.
Yeah.
You know? So like, even if basketball won't give you what you want, we give you the tools past that for you to be able to attack life with a different mindset that can help you to still have the courage, right, to keep on going. And after all, basketball, if you want to make it so far, haina njia moja tu. You can still be a doctor working in an NBA team. You can still be a videographer. You can still be a referee. There's all these avenues that could take you still where you want to go. So if you're going to settle for one thing, don't forget kuna mathematician analipo with an NBA team, working in an NBA team. And he's like, things like those are things that we're supposed to speak to players. While kwamba, I can be an accountant working in an NBA team. Something which is like, what I ever wanted, because now you're so close to what your dream was, and still doing what you like, because it's for basketball. So I think that message MBD were preached much more kwa a lot of players, kwamba wasibox kwenye just being a basketball player, same as me, kwamba like, oh, I can be a basketball trainer too. That's still in a basketball field. Like it feels back then it felt really, you being a basketball trainer, it's like a failure. No? Until then, I had to like change that narrative. Kwamba, I can really make this into something which somebody else would want to do also. You know? So like things like those to just showcase different avenues that you can still do basketball like in a different narrative.
And I think it applies in pretty much every sense of everything that we do
exactly.
on our lives. Meaning, if you're a football player, if an artist, you're a singer. If you are, there's just it's I like that. It's
like evolution. You evolve. You can start on the court playing, and then you can evolve into perhaps coaching. You can evolve into managing the teams. And humans were built to evolve.
Definitely.
Tangu to inception, when the sperm meets the egg, changes happen, and we are constantly just growing and evolving and changing. So, tusijilimit, because that's where you go to die,
Yeah, exactly.
So when you limit yourself, that's the only way from there is death. Your cells your brain starts to deteriorate as well if you're just fixated on one. If you're not exploring different avenues. And I like the fact that unafundisha not just basketball, but you're teaching things around basketball as well, because life still happens around basketball. Life still happens around everything that we do.
Definitely.
Now, ata ukiwa successful, let's say you become a successful NBA player, perhaps one day you'll get scouts who come in and all of that, and people will get, scouted from here.
Definitely.
That financial literacy will still help them, because you're going to get a huge sum of money, and what are you going to do with it? So the skills you're giving will probably, for the coachees or the kids that you coach,
definitely,
if they do, hopefully they do successfully get into the field that they want. They're going to use all these tools.
Exactly.
Because at some point they might be the captain. Is it captain in basketball as well? I play soccer. So so like they can be the captain of the team. And you're gonna use the leadership skills to rally up your troops.
For sure.
For a common goal.
For sure.
Or you might end up being a politician, because you have sportsmen who also end up in politics and other fields. So all the skills unafundisha are tools and skills that are going to help them, even if they do end up within the basketball field as a player.
Wow.
Like we have a good example, like on there's our girls program into She Good Game, and one of our partners is the Canadian ambassador. She's a woman, and Pamela,
Yeah.
exactly. She's a good friend of ours. So we keep telling the girls also like, yo, look at her. She plays basketball. She's still a diplomat.
Exactly.
You know, and she could tell you the most successful woman in business or in the world. So for somehow they went through sports. So that built something within them. So from that, I mean, it could be anything, but it's the disciplines that you get. You know, a player of mine, he's in the States right now. I told him, man, forget him about making to the team. Focus on the discipline to just maintain your work ethic, because I'm not gonna be with you right now. So you're not gonna be able to call me every single time. You're gonna have school, work, parties, girlfriend, whatever. Can you be able to silence some of the unnecessary noise to get to where you want? And if you're gonna be able to maintain that, man, I don't know how it's gonna come to your way, but I know you're gonna be successful.
So that consistency.
Consistency. Phineas, as we're winding up, if there's one thing you want people to take from today's conversation, from today's episode of this podcast, what would that be?
Age doesn't matter if you elevate your track record. As long as you can do a whole lot, it don't matter with what age you can do about it. So as long as you elevate your track record, age doesn't matter at all.
That was deep. That was deep. Nadia, as we're winding up, anything you want to add?
I think for the parents, if we have any parents listening, or aunts or uncles,
We do.
whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Sports. Yeah, so there's a lot of research on sports and the impact it has on mental health, or on academic health, on a lot of different things. If you can get your kids exposed to as many sports, just exposure. Because again, ile fear kwamba nikifanya hivi labda mimi nataka kufanya hivi lakini sijui kama nitaweza. Inakuwa pia inapungua when there is exposure.
Exactly.
When we do not expose our kids, hawatojua what they're capable of, what they enjoy, and wataishia kufuata hizi templates ambazo wanaziona mbele yao. You know, so let's expose kids. Sports is a great way to build mental flexibility, mental strength. Kwa sababu, as you can hear, like even tukitoa the skills that you're teaching your kids, the discipline and work ethic and the teamwork that they're taught, just playing basketball, is huge.
Exactly.
And I think that's what that Pamela was also saying, that a lot of very successful people, utaona amefanya labda team sports tofauti, individual sports, like mashule na sadly government schools zetu
don't even go there, like no sweat.
Tunachukulia poa sports. For lack of better word, tunachukulia poa. Lakini ukiangalia all these international schools, these private schools, they know how important sports is on and off the field.
Definitely.
Even darasani, the fact that ukiangalia, and you can just do a rough research, kuangalia mtoto ambaye anacheza sports, anafanya vizuri.
Wengi kuna.
You know? And inamsaidia.
So Phineas amekuja na this guy, and then as Nadia was saying that jamaa was sporting anajipointia mwenyewe kwamba I'm one of them.
Kwa sababu inakufundisha ile discipline, it gives you that you learn that I have the ability, the capacity and the drive. Napenda kwamba kuna shule zingine wakwambia kama hufanyi vizuri darasani na sports hauchezi.
Exactly.
So now you're being taught kwamba okay, to get what I want I need to also work hard. Kwa sababu a lot of us don't love being in class. It's not the thing. You know, but because unaambiwa you need this to have this, which is what real life is. Real life, we can't just always have what we want. Sometimes we need to work for it. So having that combination, kwamba we need to do good in class, and then we can also get to do good on the field. Inatufundisha kwamba there is hard work that we need to put in. Muda mwingine inabidi tufanye vitu ambavyo hatuvipendi sana to get what tunapenda.
Exactly.
You know, so kuexpose watoto wetu to different sports, different activities. Kwanza inawasaidia wao explore. Sports is a good industry. Just by the way, a lot of money.
For sure.
If hakuna kinacho, if nothing motivates you,
money.
the money should.
Kuna pesa nzuri exposure nzuri, na pia ukimexpose kwa sports nyingi anaweza kujua sasa, okay, me soccer is not for me.
Yeah.
Mimi natakuwa swimmer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Exactly.
Tumekariri sana mambo. Sio lazima wote tuwe madaktari. You know? And we're moving. Tanzania is growing.
Yeah.
You know, sasa hivi kujilimit kusema utapata kaya, utafanya nini? We don't need to think that way.
Exactly.
So banish easy old ways of thinking. I believe we're all waking up if we're not woke. We are waking up, and let's continue to just wake up and see.
How does a person get in touch with you for Unmatched Basketball?
Yeah. So our social platforms in Instagram is Unmatched Basketball, like one word. Unmatched Basketball, utatupata pale, but also Facebook is the same word, Unmatched Basketball, and Twitter is Unmatched Basketball. Same thing. Unmatched Basketball.
Consistency.
Yeah. And I don't know, just DM us and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Should I share my dials?
If you're
Yeah, I'm really,
it's only if you're comfortable.
I'm okay. My dials is 0782 282905.
Can you run it back again?
0782 282905.
10 years from now,
Yeah.
Unmatched Basketball.
Yeah.
Na wewe tunaona wapi?
10 years from now, Unmatched Basketball is going to have its own arena. That's my biggest plan.
Amen.
And you're going to see a lot of my players with their own success helping the people in Tanzania.
We're gonna come back in 10 years time. Yeah, we're gonna come back in. So yeah,
You put it out in the universe. It's
Exactly.
yeah, it's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen. Because now we're gonna hold you accountable for
Exactly.
this. You know, we're gonna make sure it happens.
Exactly.
And who knows? Maybe 10 years from now, we're gonna come back to Men, the podcast.
Exactly.
Probably to be Men TV station. Like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You never know. So yeah, Phineas, thank you for coming through, my guy.
Yeah,
And I've got a lot of questions that I want to ask. Like in the European muda, I'm like, should I close it? Should we go? Should I close it? Should we go? And I'm like, I'm conflicted. But hey, thank you for sharing. It's been a lesson for me. I always say every time somebody comes in, I can share the story. You see, the beauty of this thing, ni kwamba, now we know, like, we just see you talking about basketball and we think it's easy.
Definitely.
Like, now we understand the struggle and the process that you've had to go through.
Yeah.
And the work
Not
that
the
you had,
struggle, the work.
the work you had to put in, and then that level of respect goes up a little bit. You're
Exactly.
Sio kila mtu anaweza akafanya.
Yeah,
So, you know?
definitely.
I think that's the beauty of it. So thank you for blessing us with your presence, man.
And I would like to just thank my team.
Yeah.
My sister, Nelma. I'd like to thank Mega.
Nelma.
Yeah.
Your sister has about 20 names.
Exactly. Nelma is a real name.
Yeah.
Nelma. I don't know, man. Nelma, Mega. I would like to thank Omar. He's been my photographer for 2 years. I see you, Stuart. And all my kids from Unmatched Basketball program, Chacha, Stewart, Mbati, and all these kids, man, they've been more than a blessing to me. Coach Bahati is one of the coaches also has been helping me so much, and he's been doing great. Shout out to you too. Nashukuruni sana. You guys have been amazing.
Unmatched Basketball, kuanzia miaka mingapi unapokea?
Kwanzia miaka mingapi? 4 years old. 4 years.
Gianna inabidi ende, right? Hey, she has too much energy.
Yeah,
she's got too much energy
4
at
years,
home.
4 years. So kwa trainings za weekdays nazifanyaga pale opposite na the US Embassy. Kuna kuta za TANESCO, kuna uwanja wa basketball from 4 to 6 p.m. And kwa asubuhi tunafanyaga pale karibu na Gymkhana, the Spiders. Right now, if you just type Unmatched Basketball Court, utaona pin location pale, because we also have our court pale on the side. Yeah. But otherwise, appreciate so much, Nadia, to know you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been amazing.
Thank you for coming through, man. And just so you know, ameweka rekodi ya kuwa mtu aliyewahi kuliko wote. kwenye recording session yetu. So I don't know kama alisoma message bahati mbaya akachanganya muda au ndio mambo ya work ethic. But yeah, man, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, catch us Man the Podcast on Twitter and @Man the Podcast on Instagram and on Facebook too. Also, Nadia ukitaka kuwasiliana naye ni @mindmatterstz on Twitter and @mindmatterstz on Instagram. And then there's the link kwenye bio ambayo itakupeleka moja kwa moja kwenye website yake. And then hapo tutafuta njia bora zaidi ya kuweza kuwasiliana naye. Just remember to subscribe, share, tell everybody that you want to tell about the free gospel about men. The podcast is on Boomplay, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, na popote pale, Audiomack, na popote pale ambapo, you know, you get to listen to your podcast. Till next time, man. Thank you for listening. Mimi naitwa Michael Baruti. Nadia was here. And we are out. Be blessed.
Men, the podcast.